Hello, I'm Jay Magus, the Director of Transportation with the City of Saskatoon. We have recently completed a joint land use and transportation study of Idywyld Drive between 20th and 25th Streets. In a moment, we are going to show you a video. The first part of the video is of the conditions today, and the second part being a simulation of the corridor with the recommended changes in place. Before we get into the video, I'd like to highlight the existing transportation issues and the ideas developed to address them. First, there are a number of shared left turn through lanes where it is possible to get stuck behind a driver waiting to turn left when you want to drive straight. The proposed plan removes these and provides dedicated left turn lanes. Today we have split phasing. For example, at the intersection of 22nd Street and Idywyld, only one of northbound traffic or southbound traffic can move at one time. The proposed plan removes these. We have poor traffic signal coordination due to the split phasing nature of the intersection at 22nd Street. So we cannot provide a driver with a wave of green lights. Today you're almost guaranteed to stop a couple of times in the corridor driving north or south. In the future, with no shared left turn through lanes and with no split phasing, we're able to coordinate the signals throughout the corridor. Today, there is poor lane continuity. For example, in the southbound lanes, only one lane is a dedicated through lane to the Sid Buckwald Bridge. So most drivers know which lane gets them over the river, and they get into this lane early, which leads to inefficient use of the other lanes. The proposed plan has two continuous lanes in each direction. Today, pedestrian infrastructure is poor, with narrow and obstructed sidewalks right beside traffic. There are pork chop islands everywhere, of which many do not have curb ramps, so they are not accessible, and they also result in right-turning traffic passing immediately behind pedestrians, which is uncomfortable for people. The proposed plan has wider sidewalks and no pork chop islands, making it much easier to walk along or across Idywyld. As a result of applying these ideas, we are able to use the space for vehicles more efficiently, resulting in the opportunity for wider sidewalks, landscaping between traffic and the sidewalk, and a raised cycle track. There is a misconception that the project is removing a traffic lane and replacing it with a cycling facility, and this is simply not true. For clarity, if cycling infrastructure was not proposed, the landscaping and sidewalks would simply be widened. Another driving lane would not be added, as it is not needed. The following video illustrates the points raised. So this highlights southbound traffic on Idywyld. We're going to highlight the single queue, or the one queue length, and that lane traffic is twice as long as the other lanes because drivers know that's the only lane that gets through the whole corridor. The other thing to note here is that while southbound traffic is moving through the intersection, northbound traffic is not moving at all. And that's just a function of the traffic signals and the geometry of the intersection, which only permits in the northbound and southbound direction that only one movement at a time can be permitted. The other thing to note, in the southbound direction, really you have traffic kind of weighted towards one or two lanes. And so there's 4 southbound lanes that are actually of pavement, and they're underutilized. So again, is that the best use of the public space? In the northbound direction, you'll note the right turn lane is completely empty. So again, is that the best use of our space? Again, southbound traffic on Idywyld and quite heavy. We've highlighted a vehicle here, a truck here, to make the point that even though there's significant traffic, that truck does get through the intersection in one cycle. Again, no other traffic is moving. You can note on the northbound side, the right turn lane, you see 2 vehicles pulling up to turn right, and the rest of that lane is empty. So there's some pavement not getting used. Again, flipping back to the southbound direction, although there's 4 lanes of traffic there, you really see traffic in 2.5 lanes. So again, there's some unused pavement there that we could probably we could use for other modes. And then there's our truck making that light. This one highlights some pedestrian and cyclist activity. So 22nd Street is coming at us in the eastbound direction, and you can see two brave souls on bikes because there's traveling in the travel lane, which they're entitled to, but there's no other place to ride your bike. And then on the south side of the intersection, you'll see quite a bit of pedestrian activity and a vehicle turning right to head southbound, driving behind pedestrians, which is an unsafe condition. This video highlights in the bottom left, you'll see a pedestrian pushing somebody in a wheelchair, and they avoid the island because there's no ramp to get up there. So they're stuck on pavement for a longer period with traffic, which again is an unsafe condition. So this is northbound traffic on Idywyld, again in the weekday rush hour, and we've drawn a line there with the end of the queue. We found in the northbound direction, it would generally take 2 cycle lengths for through traffic to get through, which is not great, but it's not the end of the world. The other thing we'll highlight here also in the northbound direction is that there's underutilized pavement. So the right turn lane and one of the left turn lanes, there's not a lot of traffic in it. And so is that the best way to use that space in the public right-of-way? Again, the other thing to note, while they're moving northbound, there was no traffic coming southbound through the intersection. Again, traffic can only move in one direction at one time. And we'll see that the highlighted vehicle just pulling up, so he'll probably make it through on the next cycle. So on YouTube, you will find the Imagine Idywyld video of the future state that illustrates the recommended changes that we would make to Idywyld between 20th and 25th Street. So this is just as you can see, we're flying over the corridor, and we are over top of Idywyld looking north. Toys R Us are kind of in the center of the screen, and Midtown Plaza is to our right, and we're flying up to 20th Street. And you'll see the green shaded area is a raised cycle track. So it's not a bike lane on the road, it is a raised cycle track up top of a curb. You can see the sandy colored area is much wider sidewalks. And throughout the corridor, we got rid of the pork chops, the right turning lanes that kind of have the little islands. Moving north at the Cactus Club Auditorium Access Road, you see the Cactus Club on the right. And today there's half a signal. In the future, there'd be a full set of signals with a cleaned up left turn lane. Swinging around, so we're looking east now. East is up, and you'll see on Idywyld running left-right that we have left turn lanes where needed. In the southbound direction, there's a dedicated southbound right turn lane from Idywyld onto 22nd Street. And to be frank, we hesitated to show this too early because traffic looks too good, but we have checked it many times and the traffic volumes are accurate. So shifting to 23rd Street, again, green is the active transportation system or the cycling network. And northbound on Idywyld, you can see we have a dedicated left turn lane, same with southbound. So we get rid of all the shared lanes. There's no more shared through left turn lane where you can potentially get stuck behind a driver waiting to turn left. Now, if you're on one of the 2 northbound or 2 southbound through lanes, you can go all the way through the corridor without having to change lanes, which increases the level of safety. And then this is just at 24th Street. So just before we end, I want to highlight in the center of the screen, you can see traffic northbound, southbound, left to right, moving at the same time on Idywyld Drive, which today you cannot get.